All right. Shall we bring in our guest?
Yes, Dr. Kwame Asante, head of the Center for European Studies at the University of Ghana, joins us this morning to review the various stories captured in our newspapers. Doc, welcome aboard. Good morning.
Good morning, Sweetie. Good morning, Ben. And good morning to our viewers.
Good morning.
Sweetie, you've done so well by pronouncing the name correctly.
Yay! Yes. Thank you so much. I had to say it in my head a couple of times so I don't get it wrong. Asante. Thank you, Doc. But you have your minute or two to get into any topical issue that's occupying space in your mind this morning, Doc. Share your thoughts with us.
Yes, I think I will talk about, I'll use this occasion to salute the Obuasi MP, Kweku Kwaten. One of the things that are so scarce in politics is having people who have the courage to come out and speak about the ills of society. It is more interesting when the person is speaking about his or her government. Then you know we are getting somewhere. Those of us who are watchers of democracy, then internal democracy is beginning to take shape. We are all alive to the statement by Kweku Kwaten and the conversation that has accompanied the write-up. We don't have time, but I commend him for the courage and then the fact that he was able to flag these things up and then share with us. He talked about 3 or 4 main things, which are very good. 1, overspending and economic mismanagement that has characterized the way we run the affairs of the state to the extent that we are now running, to quote him, a Ponzi scheme. He talked about the fact that we borrow to finance overspending. And also, we talk about the fact that we don't get our priorities right. And as a result, we govern anyhow. And there are a lot of things that affect us. He also talked about the fact that we spend a lot of our resources, political actors, for themselves, as opposed to the people. If you put all together, it gives you a certain picture that economic mismanagement is key and good governance is out.
Right.
What is he talking about? All that he has said, if you talk about the economic mismanagement and overspending, he's talking about, or he's coming from Article 39(1), which says that the state shall take steps to manage the economy so that we have development and it will promote welfare and give livelihoods, means of livelihoods to people. This thing has been with us for a long time. And if we don't flag these things out and deal with them, we are going to undermine this provision. We are not going to ensure development of this country, and economic livelihoods is going to suffer. He is also, from all that he has said, he is also coming from Article 41(1), that people, everybody in this state, including the state, should take steps to expose misuse and waste of public funds. And he is coming right away from here. In addition to that, he is talking about Article 34(8), that everybody, including the state, must make sure that we root out corruption from our system.
Right.
These are the things, the evils in the political space that affect us so badly. And we have kept quiet and allowed this thing to fester. I am happy that he has also taken the blame, part of the blame himself, that he has also been in government and all that. He believed that the time is now to flag these things out and then bring it to the attention of the public. We commend him, but we want to urge him to stay the course and make sure that we deal with this issue head on. We also want to urge government that government should take particular interest in this and not shove it under the carpet that, this is a dissenting voice, we are not interested. This is important because governance is nothing but what? It is when you have criticisms, and criticisms are nothing but the oils that grease the wheels of governance. Without it, grinds to a halt.
Thank you so much for sharing those thoughts with us. Let's start getting into the newspapers. I'll start with the Daily Graphic newspaper. On the front page, 6 new varsities ready December. That is the Minister of Education saying that they're going to build 6 new universities by the end of this year. Ministry launches app call center to fix defective roads. And then there's this Ato Forson, Jakpa freed AG to appeal story. Yesterday made headlines all over the place. And Apenyo Markin proposes plan to tackle plastic waste. I'll get into 3 major stories and then I'll come to you, Doc. Starting with this story on Ato Forson, Jakpa freed. So the minority leader in Parliament, Dr. Ato Forson, tasted a major courtroom victory yesterday after he was acquitted and discharged by the Court of Appeal of charges of causing financial loss of 2.37 million euros to the state. And also set free by the court was Richard Jakpa, the businessman and third accused, who was standing trial with Dr. Forson on account of abetment to willfully cause financial loss to the state. That story's made headlines. The Attorney General has spoken. People have criticized his remarks, his choice of words for describing the judgment, but I'll leave it and I'll come to you, Doc, when I'm done with the rest of the stories. Then there's a story about 6 new varsities to be ready by December. The government will establish 6 new universities in the country by the end of this year. The Minister of Education, Dr. Yao-Se Duchum, has said they are the University of Engineering and Applied Sciences at Akwedie in the Ahafo region, the University of Engineering and Agricultural Science at Bonso in the Eastern region, the University of Health, Agriculture and Life Sciences at Kintampo in Bono East region, the University of Mampong in the Ashanti region, the Local Governance and Leadership University in Accra, and the University for Sports Development. Ambitious, if you ask me. And then the last story I'll tackle on is the story about Apenyo Markin wanting to tackle plastic waste, right? And that story is on page 16 of the Daily Graphic. The head of Ghana's delegation to the ECOWAS Parliament, Alexander Apenyo Markin, has proposed a 5-point action plan to the ECOWAS Parliament for consideration to tackle the threats posed by plastic waste to the environment, food security and cultural heritage. He said the bloc's parliament must first push for harmonized legislation across member states to phase out single-use plastics within the next 3 years, as well as make heavy investment in innovative waste management solutions that turn the challenge into opportunity. Those stories for your thoughts, Doc.
Yes, I think I will start with the 6 new universities. Good idea that we are having 6 new universities and all that. But look, let's look at it carefully. The ones we have, what are the problems confronting the universities? Has government been able to address them so as to add on? You add on when the existing one, you have not been able to put it to a certain level that it's able to meet all its requirements and able to function properly. So once you're going to add, obviously, and the old one exists without effort to improve it, obviously, it becomes a difficult question to deal with. 2, the issue about the fact that, look, you are talking about getting new universities. You are going to train more manpower. Where are they going to work? Will they have jobs? My students, political science at Legon, level 100, they are about 1,400. City campus about 400, distance about 600. You are talking about a level, right? So these numbers you are going to add onto, where are they going to work? That should agitate the minds of holders of political power. That we can't just be, churning out students, but they must go out there and work and come and support the building of the economy. So yes, all the courses they are talking about are being run by the existing universities, right? So if there is anything, improve the lot of the existing ones and before you move on into other universities. Otherwise, I'm afraid it's going to be a new program that is going to add to the existing problems. And that is not what we deserve in this country.
All right.
The issue of plastic waste.
Doc, if I may just add to that as well. It beats my imagination, Sweetie and Doc, Same thing with hospitals, Agenda 111 and the rest.
Yes.
I mean, why not let Kolebu, for example, which is a medical center, people come here for medical tourism in the West African sub-region. People come from even outside West Africa. Why not raise Kolebu to some of the standards that the UGMC, and I'm not denigrating Kolebu, but some of their equipment has problems and all that, make it state-of-the-art, world-class. Then you have Kolebu, UGMC, prop up the Greater Accra Regional Hospital to the same level. I mean, we keep doing this. It's better to have a few that are of a certain high standard than to have many that don't offer much. But you see, I don't get it. I just had to, lament and add my voice to that. Makes no sense.
Bad policies. Those who sit there to craft policies, they need to get to the drawing board and learn the ABCs of what public policy. Otherwise, they will continue to waste our resources. Let us remember that public policies are driven by taxpayers' money, and we always want to ensure value for money.
Right.
Right.
Okay, Doc.
I will look at the public waste and then the way Parliament want to deal with that proposal from Majority Leader, the rest of them. Good idea. But the problems we have in this country, one of it is enforcement of the law. Do we have that? We have so many beautiful laws existing in our books. Are they enforced? You realize that at a point in time, government lacks the courage to deal with that. So the regulatory capacity of the state is missing. And remember, once you lose regulatory capacity and you lose about 3 of them, you are going to a failed state. Is that what we are looking at? We can come out with millions of laws. Ghana is noted for coming out with being the first to pass a law, being so and so. But enforcement is missing. Public waste, right? If you go to the US, they will tell you that American Parliament is unique. Unique in the sense that when it passes a law, it goes out there to ensure that the law works. Is that what we have here? So our Parliament should look at things carefully. We are not interested in having laws, but the laws must be enforced and enforced to the letter. And apart from that, we must also, as a people, develop a culture of protecting the environment. The way we are destroying the environment, a time will come, we will not have this ecosystem again. Because if you go to the beach and you see plastic waste coming from the sea, you'll be amazed. You will be so surprised that do we have people who manage sanitation in this country?
In fact, we have plastic management policy or something, yet we still churn out over 800,000 tons of plastic waste.
Is it working? Year. Go to other jurisdictions. Dustbins have been provided where if it's plastic, you put it in. If it's paper, bottle, and all that. What are we talking about? Waste management is a problem. So some of these things, I listen to it, but I don't pay attention. Then Ato Forson and Jakpa issue, right? Very interesting. I mean, the conversation and the rest of them. I believe that I salute the court that at the end of the day, they look at the facts and they've come out with something that is going to be the turning moment in strengthening the frontiers of our democracy.
Right.
If you look at the judgment and the things that were said in there, I believe that going forward, we will take political notice and deal with some of the weaknesses in our legal system and make sure that we always get the best. For me, as soon as you pass judgment and then, it goes in a certain direction like this, everybody hail the judicial system. We want it to be sustained because let us remember that the court is the public court. So all of us must show interest in making sure that it works to the interest of the people.
All right, Doc. Thank you. Benjamin, let's do your paper now.
Well, quickly, Daily Guide newspaper and 2.37 million euro ambulance case. Ato Forson, Jakpa freed, AG to appeal decision. We've already taken a look at that. I'll just add something when I get there. ECOWAS Parliament, Afenyo Marking calls for plastic waste solution like we've been talking about. You exemplify good leadership. Liberian IGP to Dampare. And then stop tagging judiciary. Majority Leader blasts NDC. Then Ghana's education makes significant strides. That's according to Education Minister Dr. Yao Educhum. And then 13 arrested in illegal forex trading crackdown. On the back page Grealish rues Euros snub. Jack Grealish, of course, of Manchester City, says, being left out of England's Euro 2024 squad was the most difficult thing I've had to deal with in my career. Ghana depart for ICC Cricket World Cup qualifier. We pray that those people going are actually members of the cricket team, as we've seen in this country. Mbappe is Division 2 side majority shareholder, and Bantama lift MTN Ashanti Fest Gala. So I'll not go into too many of them. I'll just be very brief. Yesterday we had that event at the Accra International Conference Center, and the Minister of Education, Dr. Yawase Educhum, has highlighted the government's significant strides in transforming the country's educational system. The minister noted that Ghana had made remarkable progress in improving the quality of education with a focus on creating a more inclusive and innovative learning environment, as well as developing critical minds and improving public schools. He went on to talk about education, provisions, critical thinking, free SHS achievements, and all of that. For me, the minister, especially, he's been supporting engineering students in his constituency. I believe it's Busumtre or something of the sort. And when it comes to STEM, the STEM institutions, fantastic if we maintain them, and they need more logistics. But when it comes to free SHS, that is where my problem is. But if you just detach the STEM institutions alone, I feel under his watch, we've done a fantastic job. But free SHS, many problems for me. Then I'll look at the one about Ato Forson. I'm not going to get into the story. We've already got there. But the point is, with everything that has happened legally, some say that, of course, the judiciary itself, justices of the court, the judicial service, and the timelines. In a few days, I believe they are going on recess. What happens to this case? The AG says he wants to appeal. His language in that release, that the ruling is perverse and everything, I don't know. When it has gone his way, he's not sounded that way. But some have also raised the question, you know, as part of the plea bargaining process, there had been an attempt to pay over 2 million euros back to the state. It was rejected. According to processes, as far as I know, the money could have been taken. Some of the processes still could have continued. In other words, we could have won both ways. Now that this has happened, we lose the money as of now, barring whatever happens at the Apex Court. We lose the money, and the gentlemen who supposedly were guilty are also going free. Inti Yakoye, and I say, yeah, bye. Where I'll wrap is page 6. Stop tagging judiciary. Majority leader blasts NDC. Yesterday, he was congratulating Dr. Ato Forson, by the way. Yes. The majority leader, Alexander Afenyo-Markin, has cautioned the opposition NDC and its minority in parliament to desist from tagging the judiciary as partisan and being under the control of the executive whenever cases do not go their way. The statement was in relation to a 2-1 majority decision of the Court of Appeal, which acquitted, of course, we know, the minority leader and Richard Jakpa. It goes on and on. Doc, briefly, your reflections on these stories.
Yeah, I'll look at the strides we are making in education and the rest of them. You have said it, and you couldn't have said it better. Yes, we are making progress, but said we have improved what environment and all that. Which environment are we talking about? We have people who are learning what under trees in this country. We have what a system, a shift system that continue to exist. When I was a little boy, we had shift system. I mean, do you still have some here? Right. There are problems. I want our state to take into consideration these problems and deal with them. There is no doubt that there have been improvement and all that, but the weaknesses are also there for us to see. I went through you talk about the senior high school and all that. If you look at the results that they release, they will tell you that, oh, so and so percentage and all that. Go into the actuals. You realize the number of people who failed the exams. Yeah. A lot, about 190-something thousand and so forth. If you are writing exams,
and even just to add a quick point, I didn't really realize it. The other day when Professor Wandari, I think, came here, he made mention, you see, you can compel them to move through SHS, right? Secondary education. But the quality, a lot of them, when they apply, for example, for the University of Ghana and other institutions, that is where the cutoff will cut a lot of them off. I was surprised because he mentioned about 40% or so plus who do not get admission. So already they are cut off from there. And some of them, a lot of them, first year in university, you know, if you don't meet certain benchmarks, you will fall off. And they keep telling me, my lecturer friends keep telling me that these students are coming with A, B+, but they can't perform in class. A lot of them are having to be sacked and all of that. So I don't know whether it's just for, oh yes, we've rolled them over, but what is the quality of what they
We
put in
need
their
to
heads?
ensure quality. I want them to focus on the basics, the basics. You go to certain jurisdictions and you realize what is happening. You'll be amazed. We want to encourage engineering, but we must first of all encourage mathematics, which is what? The foundation, mathematics. You look at the results, the WASI results.
Yeah.
Those that fail, if it's not English, it is mathematics. And if you fail in mathematics, none of the sciences would you say that you'll be able to survive there?
Yeah.
Right.
So the foundation there, the foundation subjects, we must be strong. English, once you drop it, it's over. Where are you going?
Yeah.
And I took the trouble to go through the WASI results, and I realized that the figures, much as that people have passed and all that, the figures that what are not able to make it, 190 something thousand. So you write examination and 190 something will fail, and we think we are happy. Please, we need to look at that. We need to look at that.
Thank you for those brief thoughts. Let's get into other papers.
The Custodian newspaper now. Baumia to join Ofie Mega Walk. Apanyo marking rallies ECOWAS to end plastic waste. We just gotten into that story. New shippers law to regulate port charges. And Ajo Safo cautions against conflicts between ICC bill and Ghana's constitution. But I want to do an interesting story here about Asante Kotoko at 89, the legends who made the club tick. I'll just give you a bit of excerpt here. Kumasi Asante Kotoko will be 89 years old this August 2024. 3 cheers for the Porcupine Warriors. 89 years of excellence on the field of play is no joke. And I think you should grab a copy of this paper yourself and read it. And
please, that's a very important story.
I know.
You know,
I know.
You have to delve further into that story.
No, please. That's how. Look at you. Asante Kotoko is older than Ghana's independence, eh?
Ukuma Apembeba.
Apembeba. Anyway, so that caught my attention. And then I just suffer cautions against conflicts between ICC bill and Ghana's constitution. The Member of Parliament for Dobi Kwamenya constituency, Sarah Josafo, has cautioned against the possible conflicts between the proposed ICC bill seeking to domesticate the Rome Statute in Ghana and the 1992 constitution. And she's worried that the jurisdiction of the ICC may clash with the sovereignty of Ghana, urging the Ghanaian authorities to exercise caution with its implementation plans regarding the Rome Statute of the ICC. And then let me just add this, the Accra Times newspaper, help NDC to reset Ghana. That is Mahama and Jane urging 2024 voters. Ghana Shippers Authority bill passed. Let me get into that story, actually. I just read the headline on the other paper. It's on page 3. And it reads, the Speaker of Ghana's Parliament, Honorable Alban Bagbin, and the President of the National Assembly. No, that's a different story. Sometimes these newspapers tell you the stories on a page, and you open that page and it's not there. Right, it's rather on page 4. So the Parliament of Ghana has, on Monday, 29th July, passed into law the Ghana Shippers Authority Bill 2024, following its successful third reading. Among others, the law, which amends its 50-year-old establishment of law, would regulate commercial activities of shippers and primarily address the issue of unfair and excessive charges that burden traders who use Ghana's sea and airports as well as land borders to ply their international trade. And I wanted to get into that story because that documentary is still airing, Porous Borders, and how traders are evading taxes to smuggle goods into the country, and they're paying as little as 20 Ghana cedis. Those are the only stories I will do now. Doc, quick reflection,
right.
Then we go to bed.
I will start with Ato Forson call. It's a right one. I have been a reporter in Parliament, and I was there when an agreement was signed. But it was brought to Parliament to be signed, and finally it was signed, the bilateral non-surrender agreement. You recall, where U.S. Per that agreement, if U.S. has some people, they call them all contractors, and where they operate, when they are caught up with the laws of the country, you have no right to try them in that country. Yeah. So you have to bring them to America for trial and all that. That was a heavy debate then that was affecting the sovereignty of Ghana and all that. People said no, yes, but at the end of the day, it was passed. What we heard was that Ghana was able to, by that one, we got about $2 million for facilities for the state army and all the rest of them. And when we think about sovereignty, it's so important to the hearts of many, including we political scientists. That is the crust of everything. So when you want to go into rules like that, we must be very careful so that we protect the sovereignty and sanctity of this country. It's so critical. So I support Ajua in that call and all that. We have to look at these things. The way that bill raised noise in Parliament, you have no idea. I was a reporter. We call that bill what? The Banza Agreement. Bilateral non-surrender agreement, you recall. Right. I move on to look at the, I think, Asante Kotoko.
Yeah.
Yes, Ben, I am in your territory.
Oh, yes.
Kotoko has done so well.
Right.
I used to be a football enthusiast and had my club. I supported Accra House of Folk. But they disappointed me so much that I have to run away. And then I came to follow Black Star with all my heart and all my mind. And you know the stories from the 90s up to 2000s. Look, I am on sabbatical leave. I watch them. I don't put my heart to it. But that's the club of my country. So I so support. But look, I salute Asante Kotoko. They've done a lot. If you were following soccer in the 80s and 90s and 70s, goodness me. Look, you love Kotoko with Yaya Kasums, with the Pukunti, Abdul Razak, and those guys really made Kotoko, you know, what it is today, winning laurels on the continent of Africa and back home. That time, when you look at local league, Kotoko and Haas, oh man, you will love it. Is that what we're having today? There's something that is,
oh, and don't forget Olympics.
Olidade,
and even Cornerstones and others that you know
Jesus
shown.
Christ. And then 11 Wise.
11 Wise too.
Asma, we go do. Man, we had.
And the days when RTU was RTU.
RTU. Jesus, look, now where are those teams? And they were great teams. So we salute Kotoko. They've done a lot. They've done it. But we need to strengthen local world football so as to get the best for Black Star. We can't rely on foreign players all the time. Let's build capacity from home. People like Ato and Ku, they develop them from home before people pick that. Abedi Pele was playing here. He started playing with water. I think Benin and all that. He played so well. You know, we saw them. So what is Ofe and Sayonko? They never travel anywhere, but they play soccer here, maintain the football and all that. What are we seeing here? We want to produce those days, the Faustino, Asperera, Marco Van Basten type of players and all that. They could match them. You know, today we don't have them. I am praying that Kotoko will still maintain their stance and then the quality of play. And then that will strengthen Ghana's football. I think I'll end here.
All right. Do you have any more papers then?
I'll just briefly do this. I want the Ghanaian publisher's editor to know where's his name, or her name. I cannot see it here. Okay, I'll try to find. It's not so clear. Nothing is. Look at the page, sweetie. Do you see? You can see practically nothing on the page. So please do justice for us. But there's also this one. Can and or should I vote as a Seventh-day Adventist in the December 7, 2024 polls in Ghana? All you need to know, questions and answers. I'll not go into it, but it's a story by Dr. James Kwabena Bomfe Jr. You know, they're having calls. I think recently is it a member of parliament on the MPP side, or is it a minister? No, it was the agric minister, Dr. Brian Echampong, who put up something about, I think the Adventists, SDA, that something should be done in terms of their ability to vote and all of that. I think it's still a question. And he made mention of the population. I think there are about 800,000 or something like that in Ghana. I remember seeing that post. I think it was Dr. Brian Echampong.
Apart from that, I think the PRO also came out some time ago about the request for EC to consider their mode of worship and the time and all that, and factor them into the calculation. We discuss and we discuss extensively on that. So maybe they are bringing that conversation, but there are a lot to be said about that. It will create a whole lot of problems for us. What about those of us who worship our ancestors and gods and all that? How do you deal with that? The Constitution creates opportunity for all of us. Interests must be catered for and all that. So it is a very tricky one and all that. Because more often than not, when people speak in this country, they forget about other religions, including traditional religion, which has been the religion of this land. They forget about that. When people are talking about running mate and all that, oh, I'm a Muslim, I'm a Christian, traditional people. But when they are in difficulty, they come to the palace, they come to the shrine, they come to what about that?
Doc,
the owners of the land.
I just want to say this. I think some of these matters sometimes, and I'm not disrespecting any, I never want to disrespect anybody or any religion. But you remember there were days when some of us studied under you. There were some exams that were on Sundays. Would
we
you
write
say because of that,
day.
you wouldn't, we would go and sit, I'm in control. It's simple. Skipping church for a day, I never skip church unless there are circumstances beyond my control. But if I have to, because I have an exam, I don't see why it's such a big deal. Is it that God doesn't understand? He does. So I feel in some of these instances, so you're skipping that religious duty for a day. Even the Bible says it doesn't it? The law was made for man, not man for the law. So I think sometimes we ought to be, but of course, every religion has its own, and that's something that you cannot take away from people. But I don't see how exercising your franchise once every 4 years, if you are missing one Saturday or some Sunday, not observing the Sabbath, I respectfully think that it's not as though God doesn't understand. You had committed some crime beyond imagination. But of course, I still respect the stance of those who say they will not. The same way some would say, I will not accept blood transfusion, even if I'm going to die. I wouldn't do that, but others will, and that's their belief, and I respect it totally.
Ben, we respect, for instance, I respect all religions and all that. But you see, for harmony, we have to be able to engage in compromises and then move on, as you rightly said, once in 4 years and all that. Saturday, by traditional calendar, it can fall on what? Dapa, which is the next day is Adai. In traditional calendar, Dapa is critical. Dapa. All right? They observe that, leading to what? Adai on Sunday and all that. But you see, we have to look at how we balance all these things, because when everybody's interests want to be brought to the table, at the end of the day, we are going to have problems. For Legon, we write exam every day.
Yeah.
And including Adventists, they write every day.
Yeah.
If I know students who don't write, yes, and then they postpone and come and write later, but we write every day.
Yeah, I remember taking exams on Sundays. And
yes, I salute, I respect all religions and all that, but I'm saying that sometimes we have to make some compromises and then move on. Because not every day that we go to church, not every day that we go to shrine. Sometimes we are not sick, nothing is worrying us, but we decide that, this Saturday or this Sunday, I will not go to church and all that. Let us use that and deal with this one. Otherwise, everybody bringing his interests on the table will create chaos.
We Catholics, we observe the Sabbath on Sunday, but in most churches, there's Mass every day, if you know Catholics. There were times when I used to attend Mass for years, every day. Now, time doesn't allow me, but every day there's Mass in my parish, in most parishes. How about that? I don't know whether you're done with your papers. I had wanted to read a message. Okay, so let me read this message that came through from my good old professor. He usually sends in messages. He doesn't want to be known. He's a former vice chancellor, so I'll leave it there. He says, Ben, today I disagree with you. You want us to focus on Kolebu, UGMC, and Ridge. What we need is universal health coverage. As a public health physician, I am very, very passionate about improving access so that my people in Kwaibibrim district don't have to travel to the UGMC for care. Doc, so let me just say, Prof, I don't dispute what you're saying. Universal health coverage is fantastic. We can do that, even with the CHIPS compounds. What are we doing with them? But at a certain level, the Kolebus and the UGMCs and the Ridges are on a certain pedestal. And we have to get them to a certain level. Look at how many of us Even there are certain tests we can't conduct in this country. Recently, a friend had an issue. They have to go conduct it in South Africa. The cost and all of that. Why can't we? I'm not saying all hospitals, just a few of them. Anyway, that's just my thoughts.
And let me also
we can agree to disagree on that.
Yes, a quick one. I salute Prof, but I want to also add that, look, the existing facilities that we have, you can just upgrade it with little cost and get the best that will serve our interests, so that from time to time we develop the rest. Imagine you finish Korle Bu, develop it to the highest. You go to Komfo-Anokye, you go to other places. You don't need to travel from Tamale to come to Accra and get healthcare at the highest level. If you build the capacity of Tamale Teaching Hospital,
right,
we can be able to put it at that level, and it will serve that universal health that we all deserve.
Right.
Lest I get beaten by the Joy Newsroom, I have to do this. Happy birthday to former Greater Accra Regional Minister and former MP for Kpong Katamanso, Honorable Joseph Ni Laye Afote Agbo. The Lord bless and keep you from MFA, Etiamwa Eli, and all of us here at the Joy Newsroom. This one, I would have got lashes for it if I didn't do it. So.
It's good that you did. I do want to celebrate a very inspiring young lady, Victoria Ment from Academic City, and she's one of the mentees under the Girl Gets Up Africa program. And she's been selected among 11,000 applicants for the Global Student Prize by CHEG, and she's one of the 50 finalists, only representative from Ghana. Congratulations, Victoria. Go and make Ghana proud. We salute you.
Congratulations to you. All right, that's how we wrap up the news review this morning. Dr. Asante, we're grateful for your time. Thank you so much for making the time to join us. We wish you the best of the day.
Have a good day.
All right.